So Whiskey went from this
You light up my world, girl. You must be a superstar.
to this real quick.
London, are you ready?
So the video went from this
Get ready, brace up for spunky new exclusive right here on this channel with Pan-African content, editorials, TJ's Kitchen, music video dissection, interviews, live session, movie breakdown, music, and more right here on this channel.
Okay, welcome. It's a lovely Tuesday. Forgive me for my absence. All right, guys, I've been caught up with some extra production work and, I'm here to fill the gap, to do the needful, guys. Awesome Tuesday to behold. Before I start this podcast, apologies to my Niger people for their inability to qualify for the World Cup. Wow. I was looking forward to see. I had high hopes, I shared in my community page, over the weekend before their previous match, when they hosted Gabon, I shared it that I'm looking forward that Niger will qualify for the playoffs and then we'll see them there. But it did not happen. But the other side of it all is how some African countries are so happy. There is football banter. There is this banter when it comes to football. But this kind of happiness, well, it is interesting to see how people are super excited. And I always say that if you germinate into a seed or a tree, that bears fruit, you attract a lot of stones. Nigerians are winning almost every endeavor in the Pan-African space. As such, people want to see them, doing things in a ditch so that they can mock them. But it is what it is. My people, going to the World Cup with Nigeria, there is something we are going to mix. We are going to miss is the beautiful colors, the kind of aura they bring on display, the kind of people, a whole lot. All right. Let's move on to action. Afrobeat, I'm discussing today, Afrobeat, the evolution of Afrobeat. People only see Afrobeat bearing fruits. People only see the genre out there making waves, but they do not see how they started it and pushed it up there to the utmost height it deserves. Nigerian artists have worked their socks from the beginning and then moved it out to the international space. Maybe you only see Afrobeat and you are enjoying the fruit of it, but there are a lot more successes. Today we are going to look at the three artists, Wizkid, Burna Boy, and Davido, and how they worked their way from scratch to the top, building themselves from events in Nigeria, taking it to the African space, and now they are global. We cannot do away with the pioneer and the founding father of the Afrobeat genre, Fela Kuti, plus other more historical precedents we are going to read in addition to that one. I have a video, guys. I want us to watch this video, all right, of this breakdown. I love it. I found it on TikTok and I love every bit of the breakdown. Let's enjoy it. When I come back, I'll read an article like I always do or always do it here. I would add one or two opinions of mine, and the final opinion is going to come from you, my cherished viewer.
So Whiskey went from this
You light up my world, girl. You must be a superstar.
to this real quick.
London, are you ready?
So the video went from this to this real quick.
She liking my song, yeah. She liking my song. Her favorite artist, my baby. What's my name? And I like what I see, yeah. Baby girl, just come balance on me, yeah. Yeah.
So Burna Boy went from this to this real quick. But there's been a lot of debates, questions, and arguments on who is the greatest Afrobeat artist after Fela.
He's the king, bro. You get me? Okay, he's the only one greater than me.
And of course, recently, Olamide Bado also came outside to say that it is Wizkid that is the best and the biggest and most influential Afrobeat artist after Fela.
He knows after Fela, Wizkid is the greatest Afrobeat artist ever.
Because it has sparked a lot of controversy and rumors, arguments, and even fights on the streets of Nigeria. Everybody is backing their faves. Some say it's Davido, some say it's Burna Boy, some say it's Wizkid. The truth about the matter is that these three people are amazing artists. They have represented African music in every possible way they are. So right now, comparing them is actually going to be very, 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 very difficult because they all have wins in different ways. Burna Boy comes in first when it comes to the talent of Afrobeat, the performance, the structure. Of course, he even brought himself as the African giant. So as regarding what Bado had to say, I feel like, well, let me not really talk. You guys should let me know in the comment section what you actually think, because he was relating or trying to refer to the fact that who is representing African music as it stands right now. And I'm asking to myself, who else better than the African giant? Of course, Wizkid comes in also number one in his own way too when it comes to the music structure of business. Wizkid has been able to create a structure that has kept him number one over more than a decade now. We're heading into the second decade of Wizkid. And Davido comes in also number one when it comes to the energy of the African man. The fact that he has been able to hold it this long also shows his love and his dedication for the craft. Please let me know in the comment section what you think, who actually deserves that particular spot, because Olamide said is Wizkid. You might actually think it's Davido. Let me know what you think. Let's squash these arguments once and for all.
Okay, so beautiful narration and narrative of the Afrobeat genre. You saw how Burna Boy, Davido, Wizkid started in their comfort zone and moved out of their comfort zone, and now they've conquered. I hope we'll pick a one or two, a toll or two from this one, and we are all gonna bask in that. We are all gonna flow in that. Comfort zones will give you a half and a low budget mileage, but growing outside your comfort zone gives you a much more wider perspective of an audience. Guys, let's read this brief bio of the Afrobeat genre, and then when I come back, I'm going to do the need for and add my opinion. Okay, all right. Afrobeat from 1960s to 1980s. Origins began in the late 1960s with Fela Anikulapo Kuti blending traditional Nigerian highlife with American jazz and funk. Key elements characterized by long instrumental solos, complex rhythms, and big bands. Political and social focus. Kuti used the genre to address political and social, often incorporating lyrics in English and Yoruba. Pioneering artist Fela Kuti and drummer Tony Allen are considered the pioneers of this sound, and it has transcended to what we call Afrobeats, where people want to lay claim to it. Okay, let's look at the present dispensation, the evolution of the sound. Themes. Lyrics often focus on love, identity, success, and partying, moving away from strong political stance of classic Afrobeat. Evolution of sound. The music has become more commercial, with artists like Davido, Wizkid, and Burna Boy achieving international success. New sub-genres, movements like alt have emerged, blending Afrobeat with alternative R&B, hip-hop, and other sounds to create a more individualistic and experimental style. Now, this is a brief breakdown of Afrobeat, which now has brought about the Afrobeat, where people, and especially my country, want to force themselves into the space and lay claim to it. But we all know how Fela Kuti started the whole genre, and then it has been the order of the day with the current Nigerian artists who have gone global with the sound, and is the toast of the wow. We look at all these, and all I'm trying to expound on is the fact that, do you know the kind of work that Nigerian artists have pushed and pulled into this game of pushing their craft out there, well, you don't know. The video you watched speaks volumes of this kind of work they have put into their craft, starting from Nigeria, touring Africa, making sure every corner of the African space is well drummed with the Afrobeat genre, putting DJs on their payroll, having big events. I remember the early 2000s and the late mid 2000s where, the P Squares were doing it massively in other African countries. They would perform and people would faint. Initially, they were calling them the Michael Jacksons of Africa. They were super dominant on the African space. And I remember an event of them in Ghana. It was massively sold out and people, jam into their songs. It comes back to one thing. Nigerians did not start just because, you saw them or you are seeing them in the domain of the international space now, grabbing a lot of laurels. Does not mean that they did not start from run or from 0 to 1. And like I always say, life is binary. It's from zeros and ones. They started from somewhere and it has brought about the evolution of Afrobeat. I always say, if you see people with success, don't just look at the success, but try and look at the roots and how they started. If you can go through some of the storms and some of the trials and tribulations they endured, everybody has a journey and has a journey. All right. Your journey might be different from others. I am here to expound on the fact that Afrobeat has gone into an evolution which has transcended from, 1 to 3 to 4 to 5 and it bearing the gradual process of growth, girth, and birth. Wow. It is lovely to see them in a space and then people just throwing stones in their comfort zone, wanting it so bad. In as much as we have Afrobeats, which has brought about a lot of fusion of other people's genre, other countries, other countries coming on board to formulate a genre to add up to the Afrobeat genre, we cannot do away with the fact that without the S, Afrobeat was and is still going to remain. Yes, there was always going to be a blend of genuinity and a blend of newness and a whole lot as part of the genre. But you cannot take away the fact that what Nigerians have done to Afrobeat is what it is. And kudos to them. All right, guys, you see in a more, international awards that they create categories for African music and Afrobeat dominates. They have the clout, they have the international dominance, and you see it as such. You remember in my previous video when I threw spotlight on legends of the African space. I did Sunny Ade, I did Majeke Fasheke. I love that man, I did Angelique Kidjo, I did a whole lot of jet legends. I did Osibisa, I did Fela Kuti and Nikulapo, legend born in the Niger space. He had this gift, thick skin. That's one thing I love about Fela Kuti. All inspired by someone, I don't want to mention his name, does not permit me to mention his name, took me deep into the archives of the previous music dispensation. I remember the likes of Sunny Ade when I shared videos of them performing. And don't let anybody lie to you. You can research to note that Nigerians started music way back and they were doing their own journeys and their own thing. Don't let anybody put that into your eyes. Same as your country people. You can go deep into the narrative and research about your country. But we are talking about a new group of people who have taken over the world for the past 20 years and have taken African music and African genre to the world. And these are Nigerians we are looking at, all right? From A-list artists to B-list artists and to C-list artists, you can see the hard work, passion, and zeal, which instead of other Africans coming on board to learn, some are basically feeling jealous about it and hating. Interesting space we have in the African region that when somebody keeps winning all the time, we want to see him fall one day so that we can all mock him. Well, it might be your turn one day. Maybe in the next 50 years, you are going to shine. But how you treat others today will determine how you'll be treated in your season days. So take time and love people's win. All right. When people are winning, be enthused and be in this joy and joylity mood about it. That is why I came here to show you the evolution of Afrobeat from when it started from the pioneer to the current dispensation of elites, and I chose 3 people as a case study, guys. It is what it is when we talk about Nigeria. They are winning, guys. If you are laughing and mocking Super Eagles today, well, tomorrow you might see them lifting a trophy and then you'll be biting your fingernails. Same I wish for everybody. Let's have a positive feel and let's do the needful. Once again, apologies to Nigeria for not qualifying to the World Cup. I know there are more and more wins ahead. All right, the downfall of a man is not the end of his life, guys. I'm here on this Tuesday to share this with you, the evolution of Afrobeat. Stick and stay and add your opinion to this podcast. First timers, subscribe to this channel and share the video to a friend. And remember to be non-biased in your approach. That is what we do here. We are democratic in whatever we do. Kilo and Shele, how would they do? I'm signing out of here. See you on the next one. But until then, I salute you and peace out.
Get ready, brace up for spunky new exclusive right here on this channel with Pan-African content, editorials, TJ's Kitchen, music video dissection, interviews, live session, movie breakdown, music, and more right here on this channel.